Hello, I think we're live and I've done that right. Welcome to 2-minute warning.
Welcome to 2-minute warning.
Oh, I haven't done it right. Let's try that again. Right, take two. Welcome to 2-minute warning, the high-paced American football podcast in which the time is in short supply, but the opinions are not. My name is Jeremy. I am joined this time for the third incarnation of this podcast that seems to start and stop all over the place by brand new co-host Matt. How you doing, Matt?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, Jez. How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm excited to be getting back on the American football train, talking some NFL and maybe a few other little bits and bobs as well.
Yeah, a little bit of smack talk about some teams as well.
Well, yes, we'll
Definitely
cover a little bit about you shortly, and we'll realise that the smack talk is much deserved when we find out who you support. But for people who haven't tuned in before, just to give you a little bit of information about how this podcast works, we discuss a number of topics from the NFL, CFL, XFL if it lives again, any American football related topic that we fancy. But the catch is that we only have 2 minutes to do that. If we so choose, each of us during this episode has one timeout, and we can call a timeout to give ourselves a little bit of extra time. But that goes equally as quickly, and we really have to get through what we want to say before the time runs out. All happens very, very quickly. Hope you can keep up, Matt.
Oh, definitely. For the challenge.
So before we get into our first topic, let's hear a little bit about you and introduce you to our viewers. Tell us about yourself and your history with the wonderful sport of American football.
Okay, so as you know, I'm Matt Ward, massive follower of all things American football. Big New England Patriots fan, which is sometimes an unpopular team, given its history, long history. However, I also play the sport in the flag form, so I'd say non-contact, but not necessarily non-contact. Suffered a couple of injuries in that sport, but play for my team, the Swansea Hammerheads.
We've already got a viewer from your team, Andy Cooper. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, Andy.
Yeah, so how long would you say you've been into American football in general?
I think probably since maybe the mid-90s, dating back to when my dad used to support the Oakland Raiders. And I think sort of maybe the early 2000s fell in love with the Patriots organization.
Someone's got to.
Saw a couple of... Well, yeah, someone's got to. Thankfully, I'm not alone. But yeah, it's just it's fantastic organization to watch, and very varied history, changing history now, and hopefully build on what the organization's going to do this season.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk Patriots a little bit in some of our topics a bit later, but before we get started, for people who don't know who I am Jeremy Walker. I've been into American football for about 20 years now. Was drawn in by the original XFL as a big wrestling fan, and took a while to find an NFL team. But after a bit of research about who was champion when I was born and watching teams for a while, I decided upon the Chicago Bears as my chosen NFL team for my sins. Since then, I've played the sport, I've refereed the sport, I've coached the sport. I'm a former defensive coordinator and a former head coach. So I like to think that I know a little bit about what I'm saying, but I'm sure we can leave our viewers to decide whether they agree with anything that either of us has to say about this sport.
Yeah, definitely.
So with that in mind, shall we get going with our first topic of the day?
I think we should.
Okay, so plans to begin the season as normal are fully underway in the NFL. The question is, will we get a normal season, or is it unrealistic to think that things will calm by then? Let's start the clock. So we're pretty deep into this coronavirus pandemic now. I do wonder if we're going to move into a second peak or whether things are going to calm down a little bit. But the NFL does seem to be making the right moves in terms of socially distanced opening of offices and getting the coaches back in eventually. You still with me, Matt? I think we've got quite a bit of lag going on.
Yeah, audio's a bit. Yeah. That's I think technical difficulty there. But yeah, my opinion on it all is that I'm hopeful. I'm really, really hopeful that we get something that represents a normal season out there in the States. I know we're not going to get anything over here in the UK, part of the international series. I think they ruled that out. So yeah, I'm like I said, I'm just really, really hopeful that something can come of it, and hopefully Roger Goodell and the commissioner's office out there play the cards right and do the right thing for everybody in the States, players and fans.
That's right, and I think they're making good strides towards being able to play. They're doing things like helmet makers are trying to install face masks within the face masks, if that makes sense. They're trying to put surgical masks inside the helmet so that you can protect from virus exposure while you're playing and that kind of thing. So hopefully we'll start to see what's happening. And June 12th is when Goodell is hopeful that coaches will return. So we'll have to wait and see whether anything picks up again or whether we'll be safe to play come September. And that's our time for that topic.
Like we mentioned with the helmets, that's fine.
It goes quickly. So let's quickly have a little pause and see if we can and think about this lag for a second. Your internet on your phone, is it on your Wi-Fi or are you using mobile data?
It's Wi-Fi.
Okay, so that should be fine. I think we're just going to have to persevere and see how we get on. Moving on to topic number 2 then. The biggest news of the off-season so far, by far, is the exodus of your favourite son, Tom Brady, from New England, eventually landing with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The question is, will Tom Brady get a 7th Super Bowl ring with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Kicking off the time now.
Okay, so short and sweet from me, really. No, I don't think he will. As you mentioned, he's probably my favourite son, but I think that he'll suffer in the NFC. I really do.
I mean, I think there's a good chance, not because Brady's going to be able to walk in anywhere and light it up. I don't think that Brady has that kind of power anymore in his advancing age. But that said, the Bucs were able to bumble into an almost winning record last year with Jameis Winston throwing all of his passes to the opposite team, it seems.
Yeah.
So considering the people around him, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin on offense, he's got Gronk back. I think that's going to help his confidence, if nothing else. And the defense is stacked. Guys like Shaq Barrett and Ndamukong Suh, JPP, Devin White. There's a long list of really stellar defensive players on the Bucs. So even if Brady struggles to get going a little bit at the beginning, I think the defense can pull him out in the same way that they kept the Bucs in games when Jameis was Jamesing all over the field.
Yeah, like you said, they've got a stacked D, but I honestly don't think, hand on heart, I just can't see it happening. And I think if he doesn't win his 7th ring this season, he'll retire. He'll retire down there.
I think we might be heading into a one and done situation either way. Whether he either wins or he doesn't, and if he doesn't win, he'll probably leave with his tail between his legs. But I think the only thing that might bring Brady back is a deep playoff run, but not quite making the Super Bowl. I think that might tempt him to have another go. But mostly, I think that will be that. And that is that for our 2 minutes there. Moving on then. So, in a somewhat surprising move, joining Tom Brady, it was announced that former Patriots tight end Rob Gronkowski was unretiring and had been traded to the Bucs. The question is, was retirement, or coming out of retirement, the right move for Rob Gronkowski?
Okay. My opinion was Bill Belichick turned a retired player into a draft pick, I think, 4th round draft pick. And it just seems crazy to me that he's been able to do that. I think in the whole Bucs Gronk situation, they had the leverage there a bit more than the Patriots had, because although Gronk was still a signed player to New England and his contract hadn't run out, Bill, I think, did the best in a bad situation.
Yeah, he was never going to play for the Patriots again. The reason he retired, by all accounts, is that he was done. He was sick and tired of the Patriot way. So Belichick really had to use his head and think, can I get something out of this situation? Because it's not going to be Gronk playing for us again. But I think it's the right move. Gronk is a lot younger than Brady, so he still has a lot left in him, I think. And he shed a lot of weight, but in being in WWE for a few weeks, we saw on Monday Night Raw this week that he's bulked back up a fair bit. He's looking pretty hench again compared to his time on WrestleMania less than 4 weeks ago. So I think he can be productive. At least he'll be a compliment to the guys that they've already got there in OJ Howard and Cameron Brate. I just don't think you can ask Rob Gronkowski to be blocking. I don't think that's his wheelhouse at all.
No, just don't mention the blocking. Don't mention the blocking.
You might as well call Gronk a receiver. He's not much of a tight end. He's more just a really large receiver. And that's our time.
Yeah, definitely.
So, a question that may offend you, and quite frankly, I hope it does. With no Brady and no Gronk, are the New England Patriots now the worst team in the AFC East? And I'm going to let you kick off this discussion with 2 minutes starting now.
No, I don't think they're the worst. I think, and I'm going to offend somebody on my my Hamheads team, I think the Jets are still the worst, but that's just personal rivalry.
I think the Jets are close to being the worst, but at least they've got like Le'Veon Bell and CJ Mosley and players of that ilk. Like, who have the Patriots got now? Like Jarrett Stidham at QB. Like, gee, thanks.
Well, I think you'll find Brian Hoyer is touted to start week 1, but unsure of that. And I think the reliance is now going to come on the likes of Julian Edelman if he doesn't go. The D's such as Stephon Gilmore been fantastic. The McCourty's been fantastic on the defensive side, and maybe N'Keal Harry. Young wide receiver, but
I'm going to stop you there because you're dreaming and you're talking nonsense. And I agree with you that the Jets may be close to being the worst alongside you, but looking at the Dolphins and the Bills for a second, the Dolphins are on the rise. They're building up. They've got Tua Tagovailoa. They've added lots of key players on offense. Jordan Howard, who I rate a lot at running back. Loads on defense, Kyle Van Noy, Byron Jones, 2 massive edge rushers in Emmanuel Ogbah and Shaq Lawson.
Yeah.
And the Bills were already good. The Bills were nipping at the Patriots' heels last year already. And they've got Stephon Diggs from Minnesota. So I think the Bills are going to be the best team in the AFC East. I'm happy to put that as a bold prediction right now. But that's as far as I can predict because our 2 minutes is up.
Okay, that's fine. I'm not even going to use my timeout on that situation.
I did wonder if the timeout would come out in this on that topic, but I'm sure you've got in mind where you'd like to use it. Right. Next topic on the slate then. The NFL schedule released a few weeks ago. We've had some time to look at it and at the full schedule in detail. If the season goes ahead as planned and all 16 games are played, who has the easiest and the hardest schedules in the 2020 NFL season? Time begins now.
I think we looked at the schedule, didn't we, between us? And I think they've come up with, apparently the New England Patriots have the hardest schedule.
According to the NFL, yes.
Jarrett Stidham is... Well, yeah, is that because Jarrett Stidham is this QB? Or is the NFL or these people who make the predictions, are they just writing the Patriots off before ball's been thrown?
Well, the stats that we looked at, the strength of schedule, is completely based on the records of teams last year and how they finished. And the Patriots have got on paper, the hardest schedule because of facing the teams within their division who are on the rise. And they're also facing, I can't remember the other division they're facing, but they're facing a strong division. I think it's the NFC South. So you're facing the Bucks, the Saints, the Panthers, and the Falcons, and that's quite hard to do. But I don't think the Patriots have got the hardest time. I think that actually the Detroit Lions have got the hardest schedule. They're a team that were 3-12 last year, and they have to face teams like the Saints, the Titans, the Bucks, the Colts, the Panthers, and they've got to face the Packers, the Bears, and the Vikings within the division. So the only obviously winnable games that they have, to me, are the Jags, who are just constantly regressing, and the Redskins, who are always disappointing. So I think the Lions have got the hardest schedule.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure we're going to get time to do the easiest. We might have to come back to it on a later episode.
Yeah.
But are you sticking with the Patriots as your hardest?
I think because we get week 1 and we're kicking off, I think, against the 49ers, that's going to be a difficult starting point with facing what should have been our Brady replacement in Jimmy G. I rate him anyway, but I think,
I'm going to stop you there because
it's going to be tough.
Our time has long expired, I'm afraid. I told you it goes quick.
Another situation where I think the timeout's just not warranted yet.
I'm looking forward to doing this in a few weeks when I've got all the tech completely set up, ready to go, and we've got a clock on the screen. Hopefully we can sort some internet signal out or make it so that there isn't quite as much lag between us, and it's going to be even faster paced, and we'll get more into the 2 minutes as well. Be interesting to see.
Yeah.
So let's bring up the banner for our next topic. We're going to change the pace a little bit. In some off-field news, it was announced that Jay Cutler and his reality TV wife, Kristen Cavallari, are getting a divorce. With 2 minutes on the clock, who is the winner, or who will be the winner in this mess that's going on?
All right, so I think the winner in it all is Jay. To be honest, until recently, I kind of found out he doesn't even have an NFL career anymore. So that's more the fool me. But I think Cavallari, she's bought a nice $5 million mansion in Tennessee as a nest for the kids. But I think Jay'll be the winner at the end of it. But the last thing I remember of him is the QB in Chicago, even though he's been other places. But that's my knowledge on Jay Cutler.
He didn't really go anywhere else after Chicago. There was a threat of joining the Dolphins, I think, and then that didn't happen. But Jay Cutler's NFL career very much died in the 2010 NFC Championship against the Packers, where he spent most of it on the sideline. But I'm sure a man of his means and money, and he's not a terrible-looking guy, I'm sure he'll find a new trophy to have on his arm. That won't be a problem for him.
Yeah.
And he's got a pretty good deal out of the divorce. They were heavily prenupped, so he's kept all of his money. She's got her own money from her modeling and reality TV career. And they've got the kids 50-50. So he doesn't even have to pay any alimony from what I understand, because it's a 50-50 share. So I think really the fact that they amicably split, there doesn't seem to be a massive amount of animosity there, no more than your average kind of breakup.
He's used this smart man.
So I don't think it's really going to affect either of them too much, really. They weren't in love anymore, so best to move on. And it's best for us to move on as our time runs out on that topic. Let's delve back into the NFL proper then. And this has been a story in the off-season and before the off-season even began. Just as we were going through the playoffs, we started to wonder what was going to happen with this. But with the 2020 season and hopefully training camps edging ever closer, should Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott take any deal that the Dallas Cowboys offer him? Off we go.
Yeah, well, I'm not a mega fan of these mega contracts, but I think he'll stay. I mean, if he doesn't stay, where's he going to land up? Who really wants the issues that Dak Prescott can bring to any team? All right, I'd like to see him successful somewhere, but I can't see him sticking around realistically for a long time with the Cowboys if they're not going to make playoff runs, Super Bowls. I mean, when was the last time the Dallas Cowboys won the Super Bowl? 1995?
It's been a long time. Yeah, it's been a long time. But they have a new coaching regime in Dallas now, and I think Dak has been a bit of a casualty of the fact that the Cowboys have been big spenders and they haven't got a whole lot of cap room. But they have offered him a contract of around $35 million a year. But they've also, for this year, they've put the exclusive franchise tag on him, which at the moment is worth just under $33 million. So if Dak Prescott really believes in himself and he's willing to bet on himself, he'll sign that franchise tag. He'll play for the $33 million. I mean, $2 million is nothing to laugh at, but for the difference of $2 million to have that security for the year, go out there, light it up, show the Dallas Cowboys exactly why you should be paying him. And then either he gets his contract next year or he gets to test the open market immediately. And there are teams out there that would pick him up for sure. Maybe even the New England Patriots if the Stidham project doesn't quite work out.
Yeah. Maybe
2 minutes gone again, Matthew.
Fast-paced.
Okay. I mentioned that the XFL was the league that drew me in to this sport. And I was so excited for the return of the XFL this year, and so upset when the coronavirus put pay to it. But apparently there is a little bit of hope. The debut season of the XFL was cancelled on the 13th of March after playing only 5 weeks. The league declared bankruptcy, never to return. Or did it? Do we think the league will pop up again in 2021, or are we destined to never get a decent spring football league? 2 minutes on the clock, and I'm going to kick this one off. I don't think the closure of the XFL this time round was the fault of the XFL at all. I don't think any new league of any sport or any new business that's in their inaugural year could survive being shut down 5 weeks in and not being able to run in the same way. And the bankruptcy was horrible for the people that work for the XFL. But from a business point of view, it was the best thing they could have done. It was a really clever thing to do. Who wants to be paying their coaches and all their players to not be able to play? They had a lot of guaranteed contracts and there was a lot of money going out for what was going to be absolutely nothing. But the TV ratings were strong, the ticket sales were strong, fans were flocking to teams. So if someone else, be that another investor or Vince McMahon with a fake mustache pretending to be someone else, wants to pick up the league and start again, I think we can do that.
Yeah. I mean, I genuinely loved the XFL, like you said. I mean, it was great to watch football after the NFL wrapped up. It wasn't, like you said, the XFL's fault. However, it was no exception to what was going on or what is going on with the global pandemic. I feel like it'll go back into the hands of Vince.
Somehow.
If somehow, but I think post-coronavirus, it'll have a revival and be successful. So I say bring back spring football and bring back the DC Defenders.
Yes, you and I had chosen the same team to follow in the XFL, in the DC Defenders. So shields up for the DC Defenders.
Shields up.
And time up on the XFL for this episode of 2 Minute Warning. Okay, so we're on to our last topic. And potentially we could talk about this for 6 minutes if we wanted, because neither of us have used
this is where
our timeouts.
This is where this comes in.
So if you're gonna use it, now's the time to do it. But finally, on our return to the airwaves of 2 Minute Warning, what team, other than the team you support, because obviously you're going to want to see them, are you looking forward to watching in 2021? 2 minutes, you can kick us off. Starts now.
Okay, so first thing I picked up was, and one of my fellow colleagues at the Hamheads will appreciate this, actually a couple of them. I want to watch the 49ers. I think I want to see where they'll lift off again from what they accomplished. I know the Super Bowl was hard on them, but I want to see Jimmy G play as he's my Brady replacement, as mentioned. I'm also a silent fan of the Ravens. It shouldn't be. but I quite like watching Lamar Jackson play. He's exciting, a quarterback over there. And secretly, don't tell anybody, but like you've mentioned, the Bills do look interesting. So are they going to challenge the top of the AFC East and make it postseason?
Yeah, I agree with you on most of those, actually. I mean, there are obviously teams like the Ravens and the Bills, as well as the Chiefs and the Titans, that have been looking good in the last season, and it'd be nice to see if they can carry on with that. But I think out of all of those, the Bills are the team that I'm most looking forward to seeing. They've got the tools in place from last year, and they've added Stephon Diggs. And I think we haven't even seen the best of Stephon Diggs in this league so far. You can't really consider his last year in Minnesota as part of his overall record, because that guy was just pissed off in Minnesota. I don't know what they did to annoy him, but he was not happy, and he wasn't playing to his full ability, nor was he able to play to his full ability. I'm going to call timeout there because I'm not done talking. So another 2 minutes coming up. But so I think with Josh Allen and with another group around him, I think Stephon Diggs is going to shine in Buffalo. And even if he doesn't, it will be interesting to watch what happens with these new pieces in place, and whether they rise to that or whether they just completely foul it up and shit the bed, as I like to say. I know you like that phrase.
Yeah, I do like. Yeah. I shouldn't really say it because my kids might watch this. But yeah, you can say it. It's inappropriate for anybody under the age of 14. But yeah, I mean, do you really think that Josh Allen is their answer to quarterback over there in Buffalo, or should they go in for a pissed off Aaron Rodgers? Could be interesting.
I think Josh Allen is an answer in Buffalo. I think he's at least an above average quarterback. I'm not sure he fits in the realm of the elite quarterbacks in the league. Your Patrick Mahomes and your Garoppolo's and your Brady's and your Breezes. But I think he's in that next tier down very solidly and has the potential to get better. But I don't really think that the Bills have ever really given him a shot to shine with the receiving core that they've had. They've kind of just brought in washed up hacks for the majority of his career. So I think this year is the real test with a guy like Stephon Diggs on the team. The defense is absolutely amazing. So they really, really are going to be interesting to watch. And they've got, the Dolphins and the Jets and the Patriots to beat up on twice a year. So who's going to hate that? I'm certainly not going to.
Well, yeah, we'll see. With the New England have got a defense. They're still elite on D. It's just the O line that needs fixing still. So, yeah.
That's our time, Matthew. Unless you'd like to use your timeout time.
Yeah, go for it. Time out. Keep it going. First episode. Let's keep it going.
We can bend the rules a little bit.
I think. I think New England Patriots have still got a decent D. And the old adage, or the phrase that can be recycled as many times as you want, is defense wins championships. But I don't think it's New England's time yet. I think we've got to build. So yeah, I'm excited for the season. Really excited for the season. It's going to be odd, I think, if it's empty in stadiums, but who knows? They might put video screens in.
That's the rumor, that they're going to put some video screens and pipe in some noise. I think I want to say the German soccer league, is it Bundesliga? They've been piping in crowd sounds and faking it, and apparently that's worked, and that's been quite good. I the Koreans have started to do it as well, and apparently it helps the players to just play like normal. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think they trialed video screens in the Danish soccer league as well. They invited all their fans via Zoom, so they could watch it in the stadium from their home.
So your teammate Andy Cooper agrees with you that the 49ers are the team to watch. I don't disagree with you. I just think it was a little.
He would say that
obvious.
He's a 49ers fan.
And I just think it was a little obvious that people would want to watch the Super Bowl runner-up. Like, I was going for more of a surprise team than the 49ers. But I do really like what the 49ers are doing at the moment. But I'm reluctant to say that out loud in case my friend Smee is listening. So if you are listening, Smee, I didn't mean it. I don't want to watch the 49ers go away.
No, we didn't mean it. Because I've said it too. We didn't mean it. Me or Jez. We don't really like them.
And on that note, that is our time completely up for our
Smee,
final
by the way.
topic. So that went rather quickly. How did you find your first experience on 2 Minute Warning as my new co-host, Matthew?
I'm staying. I'm here to stay. I'll be here all week. Well, not all week, but yeah, I'll be here. I think we're arranging it for every fortnight during the off season, and then some proper meaty conversations throughout the regular season and into playoffs, onto postseason and the Super Bowl in February.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I'll be here.
Yeah, you can. You said you'd be here all week. I mean, you can keep streaming if you want, but you'd be talking to yourself because I've got things to do, man. You know, I've got to sleep at some point.
Yeah,
but you're right.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, same. And I think my kids would hate me.
But we'll be here every fortnight in the off season. A mixture of just general topics of what's happening around the league. If you have something that you'd like us to discuss, please do send us in some topics. Be more than happy to discuss them. And I think we'll start to do some division previews and team previews as we get closer to the season as well. So there's lots to talk about in the NFL, and we'll be more than happy to do that. So Matthew, if people want to get in contact with you on social media, where can they do that? Okay,
so I'm on Twitter at Matt Ward Swansea. I'm on Instagram at Matt the Dad of 4, and on Facebook you can find me, and you can also find me through my team, Swansea Hammerheads.
Lovely. And if you'd like to submit a topic or generally get in contact with me, you can find me on my Facebook page, facebook.com/The Jez Show, on Twitter at The Jez Show, on Instagram at The Jez Show _IG, because some prick stole my username on Instagram, or just, shout really loud. I might hear you.
Yeah, really, really loud.
But until next time, see you in a fortnight. I have been Jez.
And I've been Matt.
And you've been watching and listening eventually to 2 Minute Warning on the Jez Show YouTube channel and podcast network. Thank you very much for tuning in.